Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. It's been a while, bestie.
I can't think of the last time I did a broadcast.
No.
It's a long time.
It was a while ago. It's good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Thanks, everybody, for joining me tonight. It's been a while since we saw you, and you've seen us as well. So, bestie, let's talk about your shirt.
Well, Chris, I'm glad you asked. It's a Spain shirt. I thought, being a European show, it's not
a Spain shirt or a Spanish shirt? What's the difference?
Well, the same as like an England shirt or an English shirt.
Would you say English shirt?
It's probably a Thai shirt or a Chinese shirt.
Probably.
Likelihood is that it's been fabricated out in the East.
What size is it? Did you order?
Not my size. Is what size it is not. I'll tell you that for now. But it's the Spanish shirt from the 2016, the away shirt from the 2016 Euros. I thought with it being a European show, it's not all about England, although obviously England are our focus, shall we say. It is.
And we've got a special guest with tonight.
Yes, we have indeed. The finest left back that ever was. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like him so much, does it?
Depends who the finest left back in the world is.
Well, it's
either way, it doesn't look like that.
It doesn't like that. It doesn't look like Matt Ritchie to me. But it's too close, that photo, isn't it? It's too. Every blemish is like. It's there.
But I think the whole point in the photo was hang on, was the whole point in the photo that you could wear that box on your head?
I think so, but I tried to do that last week after the podcast.
Would you cut his eyes out? Is that a bit sadistic?
I think that might be a little bit Silence of the Lambs if you start doing that. But I put the thing on my head last week.
Your head.
No, it didn't. I was in a bar yesterday for the England game, and it was like a big kind of marquee tent thing, and pass in and pass out wasn't a plastic bowler hat with Costa St George on it,
right?
And a sticker on with the name of the pub. Everyone else, they got loads of lads here with bowler hats on. Far too small for my head, like far too small. And it's not even because I'm a fat lad. Like that's got nothing to do with being fat. It's just because I'm a huge bastard.
You've got a big head.
I've got a huge head by all accounts, like guy. But back to the shirt. On the subject of being a big fat lad, I wasn't expecting the camera to be in as close proximity.
It is pretty close tonight.
I've normally got a line of photographs that hide kind of what's going on beneath.
And you normally put your seat really low down.
That's exactly what I've tried to do tonight as well. Yeah. But not low enough, it would seem. But the shirt is a Spanish away shirt from the 2016 tournament, depicting the winning goal scored by Fernando Torres, apparently, in the 2008 tournament. I don't know how that
Can you explain how?
If it's a heat map of sorts, I'm not too sure. It does look as if I've kind of exercised in it, but it doesn't because I went and acquired a bloody nipple.
Looks like you've done the Great North Run in it.
God, it's actually it's quite a soft. Normally football shirt. I was wearing an England 1986 shirt yesterday, and it isn't breathable at all. It's wearing a carrier bag basically, like it's out the old 80s plastic synthetic stuff. But this is quite this is actually quite a nice light shirt. You could exercise in it if you were so inclined. But I won't be.
So if anybody knows how that, what did you say? It impeculates. Have I just made that word up?
What was the word?
I don't know. I don't want to say it again.
Depicts.
Like pixelated.
No, depict as in to depict is to show the kind of.
But is that a pixelated version of that?
It could be. It's like pixel, kind of triangle pixels. No. It's apparently. I think it's meant to be like a heat map.
Okay, well,
it's like an artist's interpretation of that of Fernando Torres' goal against Germany.
So anybody watching, if you want to send us some links to how that possibly looks like a goal, please send them.
Doesn't it me?
Please send them. So, bestie.
Hello, Chris.
Tournament started on Friday.
Yes.
And the first match up was Turkey v Italy.
It was.
And I'm pretty sure you said Turkey were a dark horse of this tournament.
I think Turkey will surprise a lot of people. Thought that Turkey would surprise a lot of people in this tournament.
Thought or think?
Do I still think?
Well, both, to be fair. It's the dark horses.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's hard to gauge from one game how good or how bad teams are. So Italy won 3-0. Are they good enough to kind of... Could they do the same to Switzerland and Wales, also in Group A? I think Turkey are better than... Turkey were okay in the first half, and then the second half, Italy just kind of really got into them. That third goal was fantastic, like the build-up play and the finish. It was a really, really well-taken goal. But I still think Turkey, to get out of the group, you've probably got to get 3 or 4 points. So I think I'm seeing them get a result against Wales, because I think that's a better team than Wales are.
Yeah.
And Switzerland aren't the team. Switzerland are kind of... They're always like a kind of second-round team in World Cup. That's how it feels. I think they've gone a bit downhill over the last few years, to be honest with you. So I can see. I think Turkey could still go through there and get the points they need.
If we go before the first game, well, on the build-up of the first game,
I remember it well.
So let's talk about what happened. I think our WhatsApp group was full of emotion.
Oh, with Bocelli.
With Bocelli, yeah.
I watched it, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was having a nice conversation at my friend Kieran's house. So
all right, okay. So
I'm still not really seeing it.
There's a couple of things happen. So Bocelli thing was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
I kind of had I mean, he's alright. He's a safe pair of hands.
Can he? Aye. He's not going to be at the Benz Park anytime soon, though, is he?
Would have thought so. Is there only the 3 tenors left? You had obviously Pavarotti died. You had Placido Domingo, and was it Carreras?
I've got no idea.
Did they one of the 3 tenors? Because they did the show before the 1990 World Cup final, and obviously Pavarotti was the main man, the big man. Sorry, Luciano, for that one. He's dead, and so he's not going to care. But
don't think he's watching.
I don't know if it's like 31 years ago now. So are those lads still going? Or?
I wouldn't have thought so.
And I'm glad it wasn't the go compare man, like because he's all over the place at the minute. Like he can get in the bin. I'm sure he'd do an able job. But yeah, Domingo was he was the right man for the job.
Yeah,
Domingo.
Bocelli.
Andrea Bocelli. I've got me tenors mixed up.
Yeah.
Always happens.
Something else that happened before the game.
Is it the ball in the car?
It's the ball in the car. What's your thoughts on the ball in the car?
I was like outraged. Not outraged. That's too strong a word. I was. I felt a little bit kind of dirty about it. Not sexy dirty, but like a bit like, oh, no, not this.
Like, why are you commercialising this sort of thing?
It's just so necessary. Like, there's no wrong with having a plinth that the referee picks. Even the plinth that the referee picks the ball off's a bit much for me. Just take a football. You don't need that kind of carry on. But then, like, I'm a little bit sad that it hasn't happened since at the same time. Yeah,
so there was I don't want to say anger, but there's a lot of disappointment, I would say. People similar of your way of thinking, saying, what's the point in this?
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it, mate. It was fast as fuck as well.
It was rapid, wasn't it? I was expecting that.
Proper fast.
I was not expecting that. I thought it was just going to be like a nice leisurely.
Do you think it was somebody sat in the stands like with a PlayStation controlling it? Or do you reckon it was a proper... Or do you reckon it was like a midget driving it?
I think that it might have just been, I don't know, actually. I'd like to think it was kind of pre-programmed to do all that. So
like one of those Hoovers.
If the referee hadn't picked the ball up at the right time, then it's gone. It's gone. Sorry, lads, call a game off.
Just all the players chasing it like a dog on the pitch.
Yeah, just like that. I would like that. I like to say one of the Roomba Hoovers, like you just said there, like, that'd be built like
that. I was a big fan. Apparently, Bocelli was at Ben's Park to the... Oh, no, he's not. So, I'm a fan of it. And I'm a little bit sad that we haven't seen it since.
I'd imagine the final you'd get a
Jeep,
some sort of version. Remember,
tank.
It'd be great if every round it was a slightly larger.
Where's the final? What country is the final in?
Wembley.
Oh, is it Wembley?
Wembley.
Oh,
Wembley's got, I think, both semis in the final.
It's going to be a double-decker bus, isn't it?
Or it'll be like some sort of Vauxhall that breaks down.
A mini.
With the Spice Girls in it, like the Olympics goes into all buses.
All the Spice Girls in that little car. So one of the questions I put on social media was, if this game was held at St. James's Park, what would bring it on the P field? So what sort of transport or what sort of device or object would bring that match ball onto the field?
It's a James's Park. I'd like to think it would be something like, I don't know, maybe he's a beatboxing Spider-Man to play a part in it. Maybe
just carry it on.
Or maybe he's going to start beatboxing, and as he goes on, the volume goes up, and the speaker, the vibrations from the speaker end up kind of...
You thought about this, haven't you?
I really haven't. And that's, I thought that'd be quite apparent, actually. And then the vibrations, maybe he's end up pushing it ever so slightly, and then by the time it's there, right, kick off.
Yeah.
And he does his bit, why are man? And that's it.
my thoughts were one of those seagulls that steals crisps from Greg's.
Yeah.
That'd be a shout. I don't know how it would carry it on, because they haven't got talons.
No, I've kind of got webbed,
like webbed
ducks,
feet. Yeah.
Almost, aren't they? Can seagulls pick things up with their feet? I've never seen it.
Welcome to the roundup of Euro 2020. Can seagulls pick things up with their feet?
I don't know if that, like...
Depends if the foot's sticky.
I mean, are they opposable? I don't know. Well, I suppose if it's sticky, then yeah. I mean, we've all done it where you get something clammy on you.
Yeah, so a few people have said Metro.
My hands are even that clammy enough.
There you go. Sticky bandit.
Somewhat.
So most people saying it will be a Metro, but I think somebody put that comment in on social media saying that would probably turn up 20 minutes too late.
It would be the 900 bus.
Yeah.
Aye, it wouldn't be a Metro, it would be the 900.
Yeah.
About half an hour late.
Well, the X34 that runs like once a day.
Aye, yeah. What's your favourite bus route?
What's my favourite bus route?
Yeah.
The 4.
I say I never got the 4 because it was one I could get a 3 from mine because I went up Standard Road, not a 4.
Or that big bendy bus, X66, that takes you to the Metro Centre from Gateshead.
Yeah,
bendy bus.
That's a great bus, especially when it goes down.
It's got its own route now as well, mate.
Does it go down where the bollards go down?
Goes like past Dunstan area now.
Oh, right, yeah, that's where I drive Metro Centre normally.
Yeah.
You go down, turn right at the lights and then go left.
Yeah, you can't anymore. Well, buses go straight over, you can't.
No, we've got to find our own route.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good route, that. I kind of fell out with it a little bit because I had to get the... oh, no, that wasn't Exit. It was a different bus in case I went to Team Valley before I drove. Yeah, 27 for me. Remember when it was a 527?
Is 27 what takes you town?
From Shields to town via it goes
Tyne Dock.
around Jarrah Hebben. Tyne Dock it does, 544 is a good one, but it goes like along Dean Road rather than Standard Road.
Simple start.
That's a 44 now anyway.
Shall we get back to the game?
I will.
Right, so the game, so Italy were 3-0 winners. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is Italy's shirt.
I'm not a fan of those shirts.
The Puma shirts.
It's something that they kind of announced a few of them. Oh, they didn't really announce them, just kind of snuck them out before the tournament started.
They were very similar to when the whole European Super League was getting put all over the place, and they were saying this was going to be the kits of the teams playing in it, and it just had the club's name across there. It was a bit shit.
It's a Puma thing. Apparently, Dortmund. Well, I've seen a mock-up of what could be Dortmund's away next season, which is very similar. The band across the middle with the club name Man City. I've seen them all. How much truth? You hope it's not true because they look like training shirts.
They look like knockoff market shirts.
I've heard someone say that on a little podcast earlier today, and they were saying it was like when you get your first shirt on holiday, and then you get it home, and it's like nothing like what it's going to look like.
It's like Aldi would be selling them. Like, I don't mind Aldi. I love Aldi, but it's a sort of like shirt that they would sell.
What's your favourite Aldi?
What's my favourite Aldi?
Yeah.
I'm quite a fan of the Aldi just outside here.
It's alright, isn't it? I've probably got a favourite Aldi.
Is this what we're going to do tonight? Every time we have a conversation about something about football, we're going to see what our favourite one of those is.
I tell you what I quite like about, there's 2 Aldis that this one here in Hebben have got exactly the same layout. I mean, exactly the same. So like
same thing, same products in the same places.
The same size. I've not got a tunnel wheel out yet. Like the first chance I get, I'm measuring. But yeah, they've got you know how you go like Morrison's Rastein. They're a little bit different. Like some Aldis can be as well. Let's say the one at Piro's a bit bigger and it hasn't. But now these 2, Sunderland Road and Hebben Town Centre. If you're interested in that kind of thing, identical. Except the Hebben one keeps the Coke Zeros in the fridge, and the ones just here don't. Oh. And I like a cool kind of Coke, mate. Like I'm not a warm pop. Man.
Yeah, you don't have warm pop.
No,
holiday pop. Yeah, you don't have that. So Italy's absolutely worst shirt I've ever seen in my life. Up there, it's a very poor shirt. It's a very poor shirt. Strange to not see Italy wearing blue.
Especially with Turkey wore red, didn't it? So
they
I can't really see an issue. There was a thing at the World Cup in 2014, and it was like a FIFA edict where they said that teams it's got to be dog V light, shirt wise. So like, so England wearing white shorts against Croatia yesterday when they were wearing all dark.
Yeah,
you couldn't have the kind of. But then you could argue that it would be dog v dog, but surely it's different enough.
Yeah,
blue and red.
Red, blue.
There's no clashes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Man U.
What happens with the Manchester derby? They wear the homes, don't they?
I think so.
Red and blue normally.
Well, Man U v Everton, even more so because it's like a dark blue Everton. I'm pretty sure they also. I don't really care for it. Like Scotland v the Czechs. Scotland wore dark blue. The Czechs wore red. White. Today.
It's a strange one.
It's a weird one. I don't care for it. Like, I'm a kit man. Everyone knows that.
But if they can wear the home shirt, you would expect them to wear the home shirts.
You'd prefer it.
Like you would.
Mine. I'm looking forward to seeing England's blue kit. England's blue kit in this tournament. Just because I think it's dead.
It is a lovely kit.
It's a really nice.
It is very.
I saw your dad dancing around in it.
On Facebook. Yeah. We'll not talk about that. But Turkey, the dark horse of the tournament.
Very much so, even more so now that I'm rubbish, it turns out.
Getting darker as the tournament goes on.
He doesn't hold hands. I think on these hands, they've made themselves darker horses head by being really poor. It's a great move, I think. Just all the hipsters will go mad about that.
Yeah, they'll be like, right, we'll just pretend we're really shit against Italy. Yeah. Then just wait till the next game. Just wait. Who's next? Wales.
Wales on the Swiss. I can't remember.
I don't know. Can't remember which one. Can't remember.
One of those 2 lads.
One of those. But yeah, mate. The game itself, I thought was the first 20 minutes was a decent opening for the tournament. Then after that, it just got really bad for Turkey. It's like it was proper Steve Bruce-esque football.
Especially, I mean, that second half was all Italy. I mean, Turkey did at the start off pretty well, and they caused Italy some problems. Can't remember Donnarumma touching the ball apart from once where he was just passing it about in the back. To be honest with you, it didn't really offer anything. Turkey, I don't think, for the most part. Italy kind of grew into the game, not cliche like, but the second half they just passed their way around them. There was a point where it looked like they were going to score every attack.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with Italy. And again, 3-0's a crack. So I'm taking my shoes off. 3-0's a cracking result, but I really feel like family. The best. That was great. Yeah, that's nice. I take your shoes off. It's great. But whether it was 3-0 because Italy are really good or because Turkey are just dumb, let's find out. We'll find out later in the week, I suppose. But yeah, it was a good game at the start of the tour. I think the games have been pretty good for the most part.
They have, yeah. There hasn't been one that's really stood out as being absolutely diabolical and boring.
Well, yeah, I mean, Finland, Denmark, obviously, circumstances kind of dictated that one was disjointed.
Yeah, eventful.
Very eventful, it's strange. But
but we'll come on to that one soon. But first up was Wales, Switzerland on Saturday.
Aye.
I didn't even watch that one, if I'm being honest, mate.
I watched it until Wales equalised. Then I had to take Alfie out for a drive because he was crying. He just wouldn't settle down. He nearly fell off the sofa because he was rolling around in his sleep and stuff. It was just all over the place. But it was all right. But again, I think these are the two teams that are going to be finishing third and fourth in the group.
Yeah. Did Fabian pick up the first yellow card of the tournament?
Yes. Was it the first one of the tournament? It was certainly the first one of that game where he cleaned out. It might have been Shaqiri, but I can't remember. Not Colorado because he was on the same team as him. Was it Aaron Ramsey? I can't remember.
I prefer the Shaqiri answer.
He cleaned out Mo Salah. He got booked, and it was. Remember when you would see Tutte lose the ball, and you knew where he's getting booked.
Yeah, he's going to hit someone. Yeah,
you could see the kind of the Welsh. He was Welsh lad run at him. And you could just, he's going to foul him. He's going to get in the book, and that's it's Fabian's shirt. It's exactly what he does. And it was exactly what he did. There was no interest in going for the ball. Yeah. The run into the corner of the box was curtailed. And I suppose if he'd been a better centre half, he would have won the tackle and whatever. But I suppose it's the right thing to do when you're
I think the comments that I saw from social media while the game was going on, there was a lot of people saying, "Well done, Fabian. Well done. Good bit of skill." So. You must have done well at times.
There was one, you had a shot. Remember, Perez must have scored about 20 of these for where he kind of lets the ball run through his legs and backheels it towards, flicks it. There was one of those that from across, must be the corner if he's up front, that the Welsh keeper dealt with pretty well, but it saved it, so what could he do, I suppose. So that I think that would have been the bit of skill, because other than that, and they had a card, didn't really do a great deal. Just passed it around, and it wasn't a fabulous game. It was good enough, and I mean, in me kind of older age, I've fallen out of me kind of disdain for the other home nations. I don't mind the Welsh are all right.
Yeah,
same with Scotland. I wouldn't have minded Scotland getting a result today. The way things happened is quite funny.
Yeah,
which I'm sure we'll come to a bit later as well. But I've got no axe to grind with any of them, so I don't mind Wales getting a result. It was nice. Kiefer Moore getting that goal, the equaliser. Bandaged up as well, which is always a bit more like Terry Butcher.
Yeah, it just feels better, doesn't it?
89, he's got the red bandage on to match his shirt and stuff, and he took it pretty well. Both of the goals were quite similar, I thought, in that one. But it was an okay game of football. Switzerland had a late one ruled out for offside. That was just offside, so no complaints there.
What I've noticed in the first handful of games, though, is that the players are appealing for everything. Yeah, like penalties, especially. As soon as that Turkey-Italy game, I think Italy were appealing for every single time that ball went in the box.
There has been a bit of that as well. I've noticed times there's been players who've gone down. Was it in the Holland game last night where someone went down pretty much untouched? And they're up, and it's kind of part of the game now, I suppose, isn't it? I mean, but then, it does seem to be worse than international football.
There was a couple, like I said, in that game where Italy were appealing for handball and trying to get penalties out of it. And I thought, in the Premier League, our VAR system, our referees would have probably gave that.
Especially early in the season. The penalty that we got at White Hart, that was at the Tottenham Stadium.
Yeah.
Which is, I hate that. I wish you just name it somewhere else. Don't name it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
It's rubbish. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's not as if they haven't got the time.
So they're just doing that until somebody buys the naming rights for it, though?
Maybe he's at the Sports Direct Stadium or something like that.
Probably.
He's a Tottenham fan anyway, apparently. Claims to be at least. Yeah, there's been a lot of quite a few times where the ball's deflected onto someone's arm and they've been appealing for it and whatnot. And I don't know. There's always, before big tournaments, it always feels as though there's a slight tweak to how the referees interpret stuff that leads to kind of like mayhem.
Yeah.
I remember the tackle from behind was one that I suppose a couple of years and years ago now. Like there's been offsides interpretation of that. So maybe the players have heard that it's going to be something with handballs and gone right. I mean, the Premier League did start off really strict with it and kind of tone it down, didn't they? Move the sliders.
They had to.
And I don't know if we were the only country that had that kind of really harsh interpretation of the law, or if we were going like, this is silly, that. So maybe these other countries are doing that because that's how their seasons have gone. I don't know enough about the national games.
So Balloon Moon Boy 1956. I kind of, Jesus Christ, your name's not even that hard to say, but I really struggled with that one.
Hard, is it? Like,
no, so Blue Moon Boy 1956 said, "Is VAR being used in the Euros?" It is.
Yeah, there was a goal. There was something happened today. I forget what. Oh, that Switzerland goal that got given on Saturday tea time that they ruled out with VAR. And there was something happened today in the game that I watched where there was not a goal disallowed, a goal was scored. It was last night, the Holland game. Scored a goal in the it was that second goal, I think. And they brought it back and had a look at it just to check to see if the lad was offside. And I thought he was, but he wasn't. I was wrong.
So, but that speaks volumes, really. Like, we're now, the 9th game is being played right now as we speak, and VAR haven't really had to step in massively. But I bet if you look at the 9 games, consecutive games in the Premier League, there'll be somewhere that they're fucked up.
Well, 9 games it's very nearly a full weekend's fixture list, isn't it? And there's
always something, isn't there?
Watch match of the day on a Saturday or Sunday night match of the day too, or whatever. Your highlights pack out your choices, and there's always a conversation. There's always something like, it's gone to VAR,
or it hasn't gone to VAR.
They're upset about the thickness of lines,
and
the
angles of lines,
which frame the ball's being kicked in, because it's that it captures 24 frames per second. All these kind of things that VAR is a cracking idea. It's just I don't think it really gets used properly.
It's not implemented well.
Not brilliantly. No, I think I like to think they get it right because it seems to be here to stay.
So Wales Switzerland was a pretty non-eventful game. Let's put it that way. It was there. It happened. It happened.
Yeah, it's in the history books.
Yeah, it happened. But next game up, Denmark Finland. There's only really one major talking point from this, if we're being honest. Which has led to more talking points.
Many talking points.
So obviously we won't focus too much on it because it's obviously the social media in the last couple of days has gone mental, and there's huge things on the back of that, which is only going to make things better in normal life and grassroots football, things like that. Well, looking at the video, we've seen social media the last 24 hours with those 2 kids. Maybe not, but.
Local.
No, it wasn't Northeast based. But yeah, Christian Eriksen. It's just before half time. He goes to retrieve a ball from a throw in, and then he just collapses. Just gone. What I want to talk about is the footage afterwards. So I think there's a lot of people saying BBC this, BBC that, and I completely agree that the BBC should have went to the studio a lot quicker than what they did.
It's a funny. It's not funny. It's a bit of a poor choice of words, maybe. It's a strange one where, like the BBC, I've seen people having to go Gary Lineker as if he's producing it at the same time as presenting it. It's madness. Like the BBC footage. It's the thing is, though, I think Lineker put a thing on Twitter saying they were waiting to see if the game was going to be postponed or not. And it's a strange situation where if they go back to the studio, then Lineker, Micah Richards, Alex Scott, and was it Rio Ferdinand in the studio at the time? No,
I can't remember. I think it was just the 3 of them, mate. I can't remember. No, it was a Cesc.
Cesc Fabregas, yeah.
When he shirt?
Yes, the same size, apparently. And it was, I can only imagine if they've gone back to the studio, if they went back to the studio immediately, then they've got to kind of fill time in for however long, and you've got 4 ex-players there who, Micah Richards almost certainly would have played against Eriksen.
Yeah.
So there might have been a kind of relationship with
sorts there. Cesc probably would have as well.
Cesc,
Chelsea would have been at Chelsea, and Eriksen would have been at Spurs.
Tottenham for 7 years, and Lineker was an old Tottenham player, so he got links to the club still. So, that people who've got a personal, or possibly have a personal kind of link to him, maybe could be friendly. You don't know these things in football. So I think it would have been a little bit harsh to go back to the studio and do that. On the other hand, it's equally harsh on Jonathan Pierce, who's got to fill in 10 minutes or so. He's got to kind of keep you abreast of what's going on. It was a shame. I thought the footage of it, when he went down and it became apparent, like really apparent that something was wrong, it should have been the producer of the footage who would have been.
So it's a global feed apparently. Yeah. So the camera work gets obviously put in different directions to all these networks. Yeah. Every single one. So whether you're in England, America, Turkey, Czech, anywhere, it's going to be the same feed.
All up at the same stuff. Yeah. So I don't know if it's like the game tonight, Spain against Sweden in Seville. I don't know if it's a Spanish company who are in charge of the production or that or if it's a UEFA thing. I don't know, but obviously this one was in Denmark, so we'd like to have thought if it was a Danish producer or a UEFA kind of whatever, that they would have said, right, this is a bit, because they're really quick. Someone made the point when it's a streaker that they're quick, not don't show it. But on this, they were showing there's a close up Ericsson effectively dead. You could see his eyes, and there's nothing going on there. The Danish players were brilliant, mine. I'll digress a little bit, but Kasper Schmeichel, I was going to belt that. Kasper Schmeichel, who as a rule don't really care for. His dad's Peter.
Yeah, he is.
And Simon Kier,
the captain.
They were fantastic how quickly and the range of players into a kind of wall, so the camera.
Well, I said afterwards, I put a tweet out see the camaraderie by those players to do that, and by the captain and by Schmeichel to organise that, knowing for fine well that people shouldn't be watching this. Because let's be honest, we all thought the worst at that point.
Oh, totally. I missed it happening in real time. I was giving Alfie his tea before his bath, and I was kind of concentrating. I was project on toast. And he wasn't really. He was a bit funny. He was being noticed. So I took him upstairs and I saw them do the compression. I was, shit, that's kind of what's happened. So I rewound it to, which it's kind of voyeurism in itself.
But just see what happened,
to see what happened and all that. I don't know who to. That's not a question I don't really want to say, you should be blaming this. And maybe that's a bit of a thing as well. Instead of saying, this is terrible, I shouldn't have done that. That's not the issue. It was. I thought it was pretty grim that they were showing what appeared to be Ericsson's partner being consoled by the Danish players
once again and captain of the Danish team.
Zoomed in on members of the crowd kind of being upset. Which again, you wouldn't like this. It's kind of. I think that's quite a personal thing.
Of course it is. Yeah,
necessarily right that should be broadcast, but it's a really unusual situation. And Lineker, I think it was Lineker who said the BBC was showing the feed in the program until it got confirmed that it was being postponed.
Yeah.
So maybe the cameraman's just going I've got to, it's my job. He'll be having people shouting, and he's saying, right, you've got to just get some atmosphere, get some B-roll stuff, whatever. So it's a really difficult situation for everyone. I think the feed should have been cut earlier than it was.
Yeah.
Whether that's going back to the studio, whether it's putting an episode of Changing Rooms on instead.
Put a Gordon program on.
They did.
The game got postponed.
I think I've already seen that one. I quite like that program. So it was a bit strange, but that's not the kind of big takeaway. It kind of. It's just so it's so concerned. It was really upsetting to see it. I mean, as a fit 29-year-old lad, he'll be getting health checks. You see the same with. I mean, Fabrice Muamba was another example. Yeah. A fellow who had a heart attack on the pitch.
Teori died. Heart attack in training.
But Muamba was on the pitch, wasn't he? In the game. Mark Vivian Foy. Going back years to Confederations Cup in 2003, he died on a beat. He actually died. Yeah. Muamba died, but got brought back in Ericsson by all accounts. I think I read today or heard today from the Danish FA did suffer cardiac arrest. I'm not certain that's right, but I'm sure that's what I heard. So to have him, the picture of him on the stretcher afterwards, conscious, hand on his head with the mock, to get from where the footage left him to that in 25, that's phenomenal, really, really good.
And I think you've got to look at the fans of Finland as well, who were donating the flags to cover them. So if you look at the photos afterwards, it's the Finnish flags.
It was the one behind him, because I remember seeing it and thought that looked like a French flag. I couldn't make up the cross. It was like it looked like the red, white, and blue, and the tricolor. I'm gonna have to use this one. It's not. It's a screw top, but I'm really hit my hand. So yeah, it's such an unusual. I mean,
it was that unusual when we saw those photos of Ericsson sitting up in the stretcher with the face mask on. Everyone's immediate thought was, "Is that fake?"
Yeah, and that's such a shame. I think that's just a product of kind of what things are now. When it's so easy, you see the deep fake videos of people putting like Jim Carrey's face on or something like that. And you kind of think, oh, well, is it Photoshop now? I didn't say I was looking around thinking, oh, he's wearing the new Danish kit that I haven't won. There was a Finland from like what looked like a FIFA lanyard, the Finland flag, and I thought, that looks like it's.
Yeah.
But it is such a shame that that's kind of almost the first thought, like, you know? Yeah. But yeah, it was, I suppose it's just a relief that he's all right. He's not going to play football again, is he, by lots of things, but he's not dead, you know? He's regained consciousness. And if you look at, I mean, we use Fabrice Muamba as an example of someone who had a heart attack on the pitch, and now, from what I can gather, is fine. You know, just kind of not a footballer anymore, but he's healthy.
Huge ambassador of changing things in football as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier the defibrillator thing, and I was reading a stat where if you get a defibrillator to someone within a certain amount of time, 75% of the time you're saving their life. And it's I don't know the ins and outs. So I don't want to get too far into stuff like that because I don't want to start say this is disgraceful when it's not the case, like, because I'm not very well kind of informed on it really. But it does feel like it's the kind of thing that really should be in place all over the place. I remember, I'm going to do it, when my mum was poorly. She died, you know.
But you do it every time. It's really like every time.
This story actually directly, it was she fainted.
Right, okay.
In Alec, and they rang my dad rang the ambulance, and it says, oh, there's a defibrillator in a phone box. So you've got to go down here, and here's a code for it. So I went and got it. Didn't need it, fortunately, in the end. Sure, a bit longer. But yeah, I mean, I had no idea that they did that. And it's just such a good idea. I mean, a lot of old phone boxes are gone now because everyone's got mobiles. Yeah. But like, just to have them on hand for stuff like that is like phenomenal, you know.
So you do see them walking around. You do see the boxes like outside venues and things like that. Yeah. And I think the Lord Ashley pub where we used to record the podcast, they're raising money to buy two locally in South Tyneside. They want one outside the pub and they want another one not too far away, which is a fantastic idea. And I think there's been huge things in the last 24 hours, like I said earlier, with grassroots football, where every grassroots football team should have at least one close by.
Yeah, should get access to them.
There should be. And like you said, obviously, it's the stats rapidly increase of survival when there is one close by. I do just want to mention Paul McManus has said there, just on the back of talking about Kasper Schmeichel, saying that it's the same person that tried to save the Leicester owner when the helicopter crashed. He was running towards a helicopter. So Kasper Schmeichel was that player who was trying to.
I'm gonna have to start liking him, aren't I?
I think so, mate. Yeah,
he's just a dick. In football, in terms, like when you see him in a penalty shootout, he's kind of acting a goat and that.
But this is what we're like, a shit house.
Not when it's against you.
Yeah.
Or against a team that you want to win. You should just concede goal against Newcastle.
Well, he does. He does.
But no, it looks like against me initial kind of judgment that Kasper Schmeichel is actually a good egg. So
I think he might be. And he done a podcast with Jake Humphries for his high performance podcast as well, and he come across really well in there. A little bit arrogant at times.
So did Matt Letizia and quickly Kevin up without that thing. So
Jesus Christ, Matt Letizia. We're not even getting started about Matt Letizia. Jesus. But yeah, mate. Absolutely fantastic that it wasn't what everybody was dreading, and that obviously he has survived that, despite obviously everything, resuscitation for 20+ minutes. It's absolutely a miracle in itself. That's happened.
The referee, Anthony Taylor, should get credit as well because he ran over and you can see him. Like he's maybe 10 yards away, 5 yards away, and he's waving like mad at the physio.
No straight away.
He's done really well, and you know what it is. For all, Christian Eriksen was like, he was on his way down, but he still played the ball back. The bloke who threw it at him. Like, it's a pass completed. The bloke wasn't even alive probably at the time. So like, fair play to him. Like I would have controlled that and got it back the bloke. Like no, it's really good news that he's. It looks like he's getting better, and he apparently was talking or messaging the team before the restart.
He was the one that wanted the game to play. Apparently
so. But I've been reading since that UEFA gave him 3 options. It was either play it that night, as they did in the end.
It was within like 12 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, or they had to play it by 12 the next day, or it would be a 3-0 defeat.
Oh, really?
I think might be Peter Schmeichel who put that on there. It was saying that I saw earlier on. Like, so FIFA haven't. It's unprecedented in a tournament such as this. Well, it's not because the Confederations Cup with Moldavia and Foy, so I don't know. But either way, I kind of digress a little bit. It's an very, very unusual set of circumstances.
Yeah.
But UEFA don't appear to have handled it
very well.
Particularly well.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, the game did go ahead.
Yes.
A couple of hours later. I think it was half an hour prior to the Russia-Belgium game kicking off.
Kind of, yeah, it overlapped a little bit.
It was overlap, yeah. But the game went on, and Denmark missed a penalty.
Late on, a penalty that Christian Eriksen would probably have taken, ironically.
So they missed a penalty, then Finland went on to win.
1-0,
1-0.
The first ever game in a tournament.
And they celebrated like they won it. Not the game.
I'm okay with that. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I've got a mate who's worse finishing that. Like, so I like Finland.
Yeah.
Good lads.
Yeah. No, but yeah, the game did get played and ended in a 1-0 defeat.
Still don't know if it should have been played when it was, like, but that's there's so many different kind of viewpoint arguments.
There's so many different. Yeah.
It's something that we'll have to kind of look into. Probably when the tournament's finished and work out the contingency, because it's a kind of thing that can happen. So
yeah, right. So Belgium-Russia game, which was on Saturday evening, 8 o'clock kickoff. I watched that in the fan park on the riverside. Yeah. Watched it in there.
Good down there, is it?
It's good when you don't have to pay £150 for a table.
£150 for a table.
Yes, it is.
Is it Paddy Power?
It's Paddy Power Park. Yeah, probably it's £150 for a table. But any other game, it's free. So just the England games that they're charging that for.
Swines.
Yeah. So went there, watched that in there, and we spoke about Italy winning 3-0 against Turkey.
Yeah.
But then you look at that display of Belgium against Russia, and Belgium were fantastic.
Belgium looked really good. Lukaku's just kind of looks like he's picked up or continued his form from into last season Serie A into this one, in this tournament. Sorry. I had his message for Eriksen, of course, because obviously it's only 3-4 hours after Eriksen's collapsed. So couple of goals, and Belgium are. A lot of people fancy Belgium this tournament. Russia.
Would you not say Belgium were the dark horse? Somebody that capability of doing it, but not in the top 3-4, you would say.
I don't know about a dark horse. I think they're top of FIFA rankings at the minute. So
I think we are.
Oh God, how?
I'm sure. Did somebody not say that last week?
Qualified really well. I don't know. It's either also about
maybe we were top in the Euro. But either way, it was still going to be higher Belgium.
Yeah. No, I don't know. No, but either way, the World Cup third place. I
love how you told us that Belgium were part of Europe there.
I've just thought, I'll keep you right.
Just in case.
I wasn't too sure that Azerbaijan.
Just in case. But yeah, like you said, Lukaku there, and I think, have you got him on for top goal scorer of the tournament?
No.
I do.
I was going to, but didn't.
Yeah, so I've got him top goal scorer, and I had Italy in the sweepstake at work.
You could have a nice little summer there, Chris, because it depends on it. Italy are really, really weird because they didn't qualify for the World Cup, and then they've won something like 28, 29 games in a row now.
Apparently, Belgium are number one in the world.
I thought they were.
I'm sure. I'm blaming you once again, Mark Walker, because I'm pretty sure you said on this recording or last week when you've done this that England were ranked number one. Wrong again.
Mark.
But yeah, Belgium on as dark was the favourites.
That is really, you couldn't get a lighter horse than Belgium.
See through?
It's
a transparent horse.
So you can't even see the thing. I like to take a unicorn, or say brilliant, but it's kind of accepted that it's the last big chance, Belgium.
Yeah.
You've got Vertonghen, Alderweireld at the back, who are both in their 30s now. It's a golden generation, I suppose they call it. But there again, I'm saying that the World Cup's only 18 months away. If you can hang on, if you don't win this one, hang on for the World Cup, and you don't know. But Belgium, I think, wouldn't be a huge shock to see them win it. Obviously, I think France are the favourites. But when you see the draw they've got, the group they're in, I mean, that's hard. That's a hard group. Like Germany,
there's always
Portugal.
There's always one hard group, but not normally that hard.
The groups are quite even in this one. I mean, obviously, North Macedonia qualified as the Group D Nations League team, so they're going to be. Looks like they're going to be whipping boys. They'll copy 3-1 off Austria yesterday. But yeah, I think that Group F looks like, I was talking about this last week, looks like it's going to be the one. And I think if you win that group, then you basically you beat two of the biggest teams in the world already, and you're going to be confident going forward. Like, so yeah, I think that's why I fancy if England win the group, they'll play the second place team in that group.
Yeah,
which to my mind is probably going to be Portugal. If you can get past them, then you take anyone. In the semis and the quarters and semis, they're probably France in the final.
I think if I'm putting money on it now for the performance we've seen so far, and I know I haven't saw every single team, but Belgium would be the one for me that I would.
Belgium look great.
For performances really so far.
Yeah. There's Italy look good, but Belgium, I think Russia are probably a stronger team than. Do I think that?
You said last week that Russia is one of those teams, and it was one that you recorded with Jack, and I think Jack might have said this, that Russia, that sort of team where you don't know which Russia's going to turn up. They'll either turn up being absolute steroid ridden and absolute monsters, or they're just going to be absolutely horrendous.
But I remember I've made this point actually on that same one, probably in the same conversation I had with Jack on that. Russia's first game in 2012, they beat the Czechs 4-1, and they looked incredible. And I thought these could win this. Yeah. It didn't get out of the group in the end. Greece and maybe Portugal went out of that group. So you just don't know. Maybe Croatia actually. You just don't know that. But I kind of see them. Doing a great deal this tournament. Like that.
Yeah.
You got Belgium. Who else is in that group? Is that the Denmark, Finland group?
Denmark, Finland. I would have thought. Yeah. Group B.
Denmark. Well, there's a thing. How's the Christian Eriksen thing going to affect Denmark? Because he's the main man, isn't he? He's the kind of. Not to kind of be awful with the rest of the players, and maybe to exclude.
He's the superstar on that team.
He's the one really world class player in that team, or one of the few world class players in that team. So to lose him, as influential players as he is, he was for Tottenham, he is for Milan. I mean, he was when he came to an Ajax years and years ago. And
I might just be really naive here, obviously, because we don't know what that team's like really behind the scenes, but losing someone like that, you would imagine if England lost one of their players, you could probably push somebody into that position, most likely. Obviously not. Yeah. But you'll think with Eriksen that do they have somebody that can come off the bench and do the same sort of job that he can?
Not that
you wouldn't have thought so.
It's a bit like let's not to say the same thing's going to happen, but if Modric got injured for Croatia, for example, I don't think there's another player of his even approaching his caliber that would come in and do a job. Like, so it'll have a big effect on Denmark. Obviously, Eriksen. Well, I say obviously. It seems extraordinarily unlikely that he'll play again at all, regardless. Never mind this tournament. So it's, I don't know. Do they write it off? Do they just say, "Look, well, lads, because you can do it with one win"? Did they go all in against Russia, try and get the 3 points, and then get them? You don't know. It's a strange one. I think without Eriksen, without what happened to Eriksen happening, you'd imagine they beat Finland.
Yeah.
So it's kind of already turned the group on its head, or certainly that part of the group on its head a little bit. It's a strange one.
Yeah.
Russia, I don't fancy it to do a great deal, to be honest with you.
I'll probably agree with you.
They could get a result against Denmark, because you don't know how Denmark are going to react.
Yeah, you look at that team, and you would say Belgium are laughing being in that group.
Especially now. They've got the 3 points off the Russia game, and you'd think they're now just going to get one.
Home and dry them now.
Well, they're looking forward to the second, third round.
Yeah. But next up, for some reason, we're jumping from Group B to Group D. Don't know why they did that. But England was up next against Croatia.
Yes.
So I'll let you go for that one, Bestie.
Well, you know what it is, right? I quite like watching football in bars and stuff. It was international games in pubs.
Always feel better in a bar.
They do, but I feel as though I don't really pay any attention to what's going on. I'm that wrapped up in the atmosphere and stuff like that. So I've had to listen to podcasts today to tell us if we can go any good or not. Because I don't know. I've watched the highlights, but the highlights are 4 or 5 minutes long. I really need to watch a game again, to be honest with you. I might not do it next 2 days. But what I do remember, the first half I remember far more than the second half. The first 15, 20 minutes, I thought, Christ, we could get 10.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That chance that Foden hit the post with, I have watched that part in the highlights again, and it actually gets deflected on the post. Defender gets a toe on it. So, that notwithstanding, that's the way he touched it and got through it, bent his foot around it. And that was after 7 or 8 minutes. I thought, this could be a good somewhere. And it quieted down, and Croatia did what Croatia do, and they did it in the World Cup semi-final, with get their foot on the ball, slow it down, just try and kind of upset your momentum. and they did it really well. But England, Southgate's got loads of abuse that he did for his team selection yesterday.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Picking Trippier at left back, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice both being in holding positions. Even for Sterling starting, and I must admit, I was thinking just Sterling start because he hasn't had a great.
He hasn't had a great club season, has he?
And hadn't scored a tournament goal for England until yesterday. So there were a load of questions there, but it's nice that every position that we've kind of talked about there, we've got options. There's an awful lot of players that can do a job. I mean, I don't think Jordan Henderson's fit enough yet to be playing. But you'd have thought he would have started ahead of one of Phillips or Rice, and Phillips was on the match yesterday.
He was fantastic.
He's really good. I've heard. I'll need to watch it.
No, but like from the game itself on the highlights and just the comments on social media, he's being praised massively and rightly so.
He got man of the match, didn't he?
Great pass, absolutely fantastic pass.
Just a turn to get it that far forward, turn and then put it through. It's a great run. Sterling comes from quite deep.
I think he had a chance early on as well. He had a decent shot at goal earlier on.
Did he?
Yeah.
Put a header wide.
Outside the box, he just smashed it.
I can't remember. I need to see it again. But it was just that promising. It was nice that the sun was out. England looked great, particularly, as I say, particularly early on. And it was mature, not the kind of... I think that's the reason that Southgate had Rice and Phillips in there was because you've got those two Croatian, especially like Luka Modric and Liverpool Park, in control of the game. So just nullify it as best you can. And they did in the second half. I mean, the whole game, Croatia had a couple of chances from crosses that ballooned out and and stuff like that. And England deserved, I thought, quite comfortably deserved the win. Nice to see. I like Raheem Sterling, and he gets a lot of abuse that I don't think he deserves. I think
he definitely doesn't deserve.
I also do think that he hasn't had a fantastic season, to be honest with you. So I'm glad he kind of got his goal as well.
So Daryl says and he's got a great point. There's something which I have seen mentioned. It says that all the lads at the tournament who play for Leeds think will prove to be fittest, just down the way Bielsa has them drilled and trained. It's something that was sold in the Premier League. That Leeds will just keep on going and going and going. Yeah,
there was a point made because Leeds in the Championship quite often kind of tail off towards the end of the season.
End of season, yeah. A lot of people, and was it not the pundit who came under a lot of criticism by saying Leeds only won it because of COVID?
Yeah.
Because there was a break, and there was hell on about it. But then I think people looked at it and thought, it might be right here.
It could be, because that was effectively a pre-season within the season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The time off that I had. But then to play the way they played this season, just gone there, you think that maybe it's just the fitness. Because the more you do that, the fitter you're going to get.
Yeah, of course.
And you imagine, I think Phillips. The thing is, Southgate, we always criticise Bruce because he just plays players that are playing well. Southgate, I think, got far more about him where he looks at what another team is going to do, and you've got to do that. As I say, playing Phillips and Rice in the middle yesterday, to not take Modric out of the game as such, but to kind of have a bit more control in the middle of the park, dictate the tempo of the game a bit more. I think he'll be looking ahead at Scotland now, going, well, that's not how they play. They've got what's that centre forward called? QPR, who was quite good. Does he? I mean, today wasn't a great game, was it? But yeah, he'll be looking at other teams instead of just going, right, here's our best team. Trying people, he'll be looking at their teams going, right, here's how we stop them from playing, and here's how we try
at the same time.
Because we've got a dangerous, I mean, we've said time and time again, like you've got Foden, Sterling, Rashford, Grealish, Mount, Kane, Calvert-Lewin. We've got options there.
There's goals in there, mate. There's goals, and I honestly
say
a lot
of creativity as well.
I would probably say it like now that I could probably say England team scoring the most goals from individual players.
Yeah.
Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, explain that better.
More players score.
Basically, but not sound as thick as what we've just explained it.
So does we talk.
There must be a better way of describing it.
England could have more players score than any other team, but not necessarily players scoring more goals. So the same that Harry Kane might not score 5 goals, there might be 5 different players that score 1 goal.
Yeah, I could easily see that this tournament.
Yeah, very possibly. I mean, look at the goals that came from set pieces in the World Cup. John Stones got a few. Harry Maguire did. I mean, Harry Kane scored with a back heel whilst facing goal from 18 yards against Panama. I mean, some would say fortunate, but it was Panama as well. But now there are goals all over the team, and it's really hard. It's the old thing, like you don't win the tournament in your first game. But
Belgium did.
Well, it did as well. It's 4 or 5 winners already here. But England, are in a position where they could still win the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to. I don't think they will, but they've done themselves no harm.
But it come against Croatia, and like you said, Croatia like slowing the game down for England to still then go on and create those chances, and win the game. I can't remember Croatia really testing with, to be honest with you. Pickford didn't have much to do.
He had his palms stung a couple of times, but he dealt with him. And Pickford's he seems to save his best performances for England as well.
Yeah,
which I'm perfectly happy with.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because the chances of Newcastle playing against England are pretty slim. Because we never qualify you do. So.
Yeah. It's a great advantage as well that we're playing at Wembley.
Oh, massive, huge, especially with fans back in as well. And I think that's a thing you'll see through the tournament is that teams with home advantage will have that extra little. Mind Spain are in Seville at the minute and they've done against. Oh, hang on a second. Is this Emil Kraft?
He's on.
Coming on.
Yeah, he's
coming on.
Yeah.
So he's got 15 minutes to make himself a Swedish legend.
Might already be one.
Very possibly. I don't read much Swedish press.
No, you Rick Johnson though.
No, or Sven.
Sven.
Or on a very well, I suppose they were.
ABBA Swedish?
Yeah, very much so.
I hate ABBA.
Oh, really? How many hate ABBA?
I'm sure we'll always have this conversation about me hating ABBA.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't understand Mark.
I've got some sort of like hatred for them with no reason to hate them.
Love ABBA.
Them and Liza Minnelli.
He's in the pod.
Tora Reid as well.
She does have American Pie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't explain why I dislike them.
I imagine Tara Reid being just difficult company.
I was looking at that, I wasn't sure what you were going to say there, mate.
I wouldn't like a house full.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of go, I'm a quiet man. I've got me kind of, I like my house space certain way.
Leave us alone, Tora.
Yeah, it should just be.
Yeah, that's enough. Go home, Tora.
If you've got a Baltic master, you go, why have you got that? It smells. My wife does that, so maybe it would be much different after all. But I don't know. Maybe she's a nice lass. Tara, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not. Still here. Next game, Austria, North Macedonia.
Yeah. Lovely to see. My favourite thing about this game is that Goran Pandev became North Macedonia's youngest ever at 37 European Championships goal scorer.
Oh, wow.
37 years old is the youngest ever.
Youngest one?
Yeah.
At 37?
Yep. He's the only one.
That'll be why he's the youngest.
He's also the oldest
so
one.
There'll be a next one. Well, there might be 36-year-old next one.
They might not.
Might not be.
Well, are they going to score more goals?
Maybe one.
Austria beat them 3-1, didn't they? I mean, this was just after the England game. So
well, they're probably not going to pick anything up against the Netherlands, let's be honest.
Leaky at the back. Leaky at the back.
Who? The Dutch?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you meant North Macedonia. Caused it all?
Oh, yeah. That could be 6-7-1.
Yeah.
That'll be a good game to watch. I mean, any North Macedonians watching.
So you're
Tora Reid's North Macedonian before.
You can probably say it. Obviously, quickly going to the next one, but the Dutch against Ukraine.
Good game, that.
Holland,
really good game, that,
Holland always good, and Holland obviously missed the last tournament.
Missed last two. They missed last
the World Cup and
Euros
the Euros. So they've come with the need to prove a point. Yeah. They really do, because you would probably say like Holland. Looking back when we were growing up, you think Holland were a powerhouse, really
unbelievable. I mean, I hated them when I was a kid because of the
a team full of shithouses. Because
of Rotterdam 1993. For those who aren't aware of Rotterdam 1993, it's not a band. It was England played there in a qualifier, the penultimate qualifier for the '94 World Cup. If they'd beaten them and beaten San Marino in the last game, England were through. It'd been a really bad qualifying campaign. I think we'd struggle to beat Poland, Turkey. The Dutch were a great side at the time. They won the 1988 Euros. I think got the quarters in 1990 World Cup. They beat Ireland on penalties. Ireland beat them on penalties. That was Romania. They were in the 1990 World Cup. Although in our group we drew 0-0 with them so they came out of the group there. And a really, really, really good side in 1996. We're beaten 4-1. They were the favourites. But anyway, Rotterdam 1993, David Platz threw on goal, about 20 yards out, and Ronald Koeman just sides him down from behind, just inside the box. The referee doesn't send Koeman off, gives a free kick instead of a penalty, which nothing happens with. And then about 20 minutes later, Ronald Koeman, the self-same, scores a free kick that at the second attempt, it got retaken because Poland came out the wall too early. scores a free kick.
Chesball.
That effectively knocks England out. England could have still won had they beaten San Marino by, I think, 6 or 7 goals. And they needed the Dutch not to win their game, but it was academic. And then, in the end, the Dutch got to the quarterfinals with Brazil. But yeah, then you got 96, so a great side. 98, they got the semis. Brazil beating them penalties. Dennis Bergkamp scored that goal against Argentina. 2000, they were the hosts. 2002, they didn't qualify. They're one of these weird teams where they'll be phenomenal and then just drop off the face of the earth. Remember, Italy didn't qualify for the last World Cup, and it was Italy aren't going to beat Italy.
That's
qualified
true,
for Holland. In Holland, they're like, it's not, even though they were this incredible team.
They done a big thing on BBC before the Italy-Turkey game about, obviously, the interviewing Italy fans in like cafes and stuff. Your normal Italian setup, watching the football in a cafe. Just have a coffee. Basically saying that it's been embarrassing to be an Italy fan over the last X amount of years because we haven't made the tournament.
It was just so bizarre them not being there, even though like the World Cups Italy haven't since 2006 haven't been great, haven't actually qualified out of group stage since then. But the Dutch are a bit like that. But then, like I say, they'll miss the occasional World Cup, and they missed the last World Cup, and I think last Euros as well, maybe. So they're a club. They're a club, a team that aren't what they were a generation ago. Even, I mean, in 2014, they got the semis, and it was a team that had Darryl Janmaat was wing back, Ron Vlaar scored a few goals for them. Tim Krul came on just for penalty shootouts. It was like a really bizarre. They weren't the third best team.
What's that class by Tim Krul?
It was, or by the manager. Was it not Dick Advocaat, but one of the other lads, Louis Van Gaal, I think.
Yeah, it was Van Gaal, I think.
It was they certainly weren't the third best team in the tournament, but they did what they had to do. So not many people seem to fancy the Dutch this year, and there was a point when they got 2-0 up yesterday. It looked against quite fancied Ukraine team as well. It looked like they were going to. The Dutch have got us taped here. And then in about 5 minutes, it was 2-2. Yarmolenko scored that screamer.
So Holland scored 2 goals in 5 minutes. Then Ukraine scored 2 in 5 minutes. But later, I think I'll double check. I think it was like not too long afterwards. 15 minutes afterwards. So Wijnaldum scored in 52. Then scored again in 59th. Then it was to 2-2 by the 79th minute. So you've got 4 goals in 27 minutes.
Was it Yarmolenko who scored the first one for Ukraine?
It was, mate, on the 75th.
It's a lovely goal. You seen it?
No.
It's about 25 yards out, cuts inside, just curls it in the top corner. Like the keeper couldn't do any more. It just goes. It's perfect. It's a lovely. Check it out. Like it's a lovely finish.
Then obviously
Dumfries scored.
Dumfries 85th.
I quite like the fact that he's the player called Dumfries.
Good to see Wijnaldum on the score sheet as well.
Another Newcastle link as well.
There's quite a few Newcastle links in the Euros, whether it be current players or ex-players.
Loads,
There's a few.
There's one Emil Kraft playing tonight. Ryan Fraser played today.
Who?
Exactly. Hi. Dubravka played earlier on today. You've got France, who've got the current manager in Antoine Griezmann.
True.
His new signing, Kylian Mbappe. We've got it. There's someone else. I've missed someone, but then you've got, like say, the Dutch have got Krul's in their squad. Wijnaldum's there. I suppose we've had that many players come through.
Is Janmaat there these days?
I don't think he is.
Can't be.
He fell out of favour. He's been in the Championship with Watford as well, hasn't he? I don't think he's been a starter for Watford as much, so he's gone.
Fabian, did you mention Fabian?
Fabian, sure, of course. Lubomir Saka for Slovakia as well.
Mbabu.
And Kevin Mbabu was for the Swiss. That's right. So there's
a few random links in there. There is.
It's like Sebastian.
And there'll be more. Did Marino make the Spanish team?
No.
Really?
He's doing really well in Spain as well at the minute, but now
I'm really surprised at that.
I am as well. I'd like to see Marino still.
Because did he not get a Spanish cap not so long ago? And he was fantastic in the game.
I think he did. We've
got a shame.
Luis Enrique, Spanish manager as well. He scored that goal at St James's in the 3-2.
Yeah, we could go on.
If we're going to go as tenuous as possible,
we could go on, mate.
Jordan Pickford, England goalkeeper, obviously
hates playing at St James's Park.
Is quite often our best player when we play Everton. So we've got some good links in there. I'm sure James Milner's probably sniffing around somewhere. He'll be
the only link that would do. In fact, would do Scotland, John Carver, England,
Ryan Fraser,
Graham Jones. No, we're not talking about Ryan Fraser. Who? And Graham Jones for England.
That's right. No, that could be fiery on the touchline. Friday night.
Big JC. But next up, mate, just to fire through these, we'll quickly spend another 5-10 minutes on these ones. Scotland played earlier on today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't see it. I kind of caught a little bit on my phone, but I was in a soft play area with my son.
No, right. In the play area?
Yes.
Actually, in the play area. All right. Okay. Yeah, that I would rather watch you in a play area than that Scotland game.
I'm surprisingly graceful.
Oh yeah.
No.
So I remember years ago being in a soft play area with the kids and my kids before people were thinking that I'm just going to play areas. And do you know the bits where it's like the roller things, and they've got one there and one there, and a little gap that the kid just dive through.
Yeah.
Try to get through there once, mate. Partially stuck.
I was fortunate enough not to encounter.
Yeah. Which play area was it?
It was in Benton. It's round the twist.
Don't think I've been in that one.
It's good. It's really good. I had a nice chicken kebab.
They do chicken kebabs in the play area.
It was not like a sweaty. I haven't got like a
on the wall.
Elephant's leg on there. But no, it was like a nice chicken, like loads of salad and that, like bit of mint yogurt was very nice. The bit loved it as well, like
the kebab or the play area.
Good, pardon? The kebab or the play area. Oh, Dad, another one of them, Dad. Oh, Father, is that it? Where's your sweaty? But like they've got like sensory rooms and stuff, like these tiles, like you step one and they change colour.
All right, okay.
And ones that you've got like some sort of goo beneath them that goes dark and it moves with you. Great, really. I might go on my own next. No.
Don't go on your own.
I'm not allowed. Yeah, so I kind of watched a bit of the Spain game in there, the Scotland game in there, on my phone. And actually, this happened yesterday for the England game as well. I saw the WhatsApp group going. I saw like Jess, I think Darryl put something about what a goal!
What a goal!
And I'm like, oh God, what's happened? Because the ball was in the Czech Republic. And there was a Scottish player down, so I thought, oh God, Scotland are going to look at the
Martin de Vraka, we've got to mention him.
Oh, I'm sure we did.
Did we?
I think I did.
Oh.
Not maybe if we can call Darlow, fair enough, but the ball kind of broke, and it's what a hit.
Yeah.
What a hit.
The first goal was a decent header as well, mate. Like people forget the first one's a decent header.
It's always good. It's like against Scotland was all right, but Gascoigne's always against Scotland as well.
Yeah.
And again, I've got no problem with Scotland. I think Scotland did quite well, which I'm sure they probably hate. The fact that the English are kind of going against
Scotland support.
But that second goal, it starts off going towards the corner flag and bends back in. And with David Marshall's far too far off his line, but even then,
he's buried in the net.
The gap between the top of his hand and where it goes in is like it's perfect. It's a lovely.
Good jump. He's still not reaching that.
And I still think Scotland could cause problems for England on Friday. You look at that team. You got like Tierney, Robertson, John McGinn. I mean, that Fraser lad looks all right. Che Adams he's got goals in him. Gooch Linden, the QPR striker. They've got players there. McTominay, Grant Hanley, who's apparently big and he's not one of
the Newcastle link.
And the Newcastle link, yes, aye. So Scotland, and fine well they're going to be bang up for a game against England at Wembley on a Friday night. That's a hard game. I think it's going to be a hard game. I'll take a draw. We've got 3 points against.
We've got 3 points, so you probably would take next 2 draws, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You just get through the group.
Yeah.
If you don't win the group, then maybe just have it.
It doesn't really matter. Let's be honest. It doesn't really matter if you finish first or second in that group because you're still going to have a tough one the next round.
If you get another point, then you're probably through. Like, so,
But
poor old Scotland. I was watching I almost got a bit emotional watching. I had Flowers Scotland at the start. They've gone a generation. They've gone 23 years without kind of being at a major tournament, and it was like I'm just happy. I know a few Scottish lads like kids I was at school with, and obviously being up here, but not that far from the border. I've got Scottish heritage myself, going back a few generations, but it was lovely. It's nice to see them because I kind of like having Scotland in tournaments, because I remember being a kid, and you had some really good players like Andy McCoist, you had Andy Gorman being goaler, Jim Layton, you had Craig Burley, Gordon Jury. Even going back further, Kenny Dalglish, Archie Gemmell. Scotland have always had Alan Hansen, Joe Jordan, really good players who just, for some reason, they've never, up till, what is it now, the 14th of June 2021, they've never got past the first round of an international tournament.
This is probably the chance. Let's be honest. This is probably their chance, this group.
Well, up until
today,
2 o'clock this afternoon, you would have said so, but the way they lost, the Czechs are kind of, I think, perceived to be the 4th best team in the group. Or they're the team that you kind of think if you don't finish ahead of the Czechs, then you're not getting out of the group. So to lose 2-0 to them, it'll be massively damaging to the chances of getting through. If they lose to England,
So the second goal, that shot from their half, basically. There's a lad, Robert at work, that sits behind us while the game on. Hi, Robert, if you're watching. He's very sarcastic in the way he speaks. I'm not sure if he means to do it. He's a type of person that'll say something and you can't really tell if he's being serious or not.
Right.
And somebody, I think it was Harry, who sits here and said, "Oh, it's 2-0." Then like I was busy doing something, and then I turned around and said, "Oh, what was the second goal like?" And Robert, dry as anything, "Oh, it was their half." And I just went, "Shut up, man!" Like obviously just disregard what he said, just thinking he's winding us up, taking the piss. Then everyone's like, "No, like the score from their half." Yeah. But fantastic, great goal. Is that the goal of the tournament so far? It has to be from that half.
It probably is, yeah. It's just
for the novelty of it.
So well measured. How many times do you see someone score?
How many times do you see Shelby trying to do that?
Yeah, he did actually score off that kind of distance before. But yeah, that one, as good as Yarmolenko's was, as good as Italy's third against Turkey was on Friday, I think that's the one. Like, yeah.
Paul Manor says that you can't believe that you didn't mention Gordon Strachan or Alan Hansen, but I'm pretty sure you did mention Hansen.
I did mention Hansen quickly. Gordon Strachan's in. Did
you mention McCoist?
Yes, McCoist was the first one off your lips. But yeah, I think that another example of just how many good players Scotland had over the generation when we were younger, a bit beforehand. And there's kind of, I mean, I was 16 last time they qualified for the tournament. I'm 39 now. You know, I'm 23
still in the 16-year-old top.
The truth as well, belly in that now. I should have just put a wall of programs or pictures up here.
Like, in there.
I should have just lost some weight. Who says that? But I like to blokes who like kids who've grown up and never seen Scotland. It's brilliant for them, man.
Yeah.
And like as I say, I wouldn't have minded Scotland seeing them get a result today. And then as long as they lose on Friday, then I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
You know.
Next game, first game in Group A was Poland versus Slovakia. The Newcastle representative that we just mentioned, Martin Brava. From the bits I saw the game, he didn't really have to do much. Dubravka, obviously, he's conceded, but I can't really remember him being too involved, to be honest with you.
Again, another one I didn't really watch a massive amount of.
It's something which it's on in the background. Yeah, it's there, but you're not really taking huge interest in.
I had the first 20 minutes or so, then I started cooking, then I tied up in a meeting, so I didn't really, I didn't pay a massive amount of attention to it myself, but I was impressed with Slovakia, what I saw. I thought it looked pretty good. Poland.
First red card of the tournament.
Yeah, the second yellow was I didn't see either incident, so I
think the commentators on ITV, I think it was, were just talking about how Linetti, it was, he liked to go to the theatre and things like that, and go and see operas and stuff. Then a few minutes later, he's got more time to do that. Not that he can.
Not to move try now, no. But yeah, I was impressed with Slovakia, but Poland kind of. I don't know if I think Poland are going to be better than they are because they've got Lewandowski. He's obviously like probably the best in the world at the minute, as a striker at least. And I always think, well, if he's there, they've got a chance. But I don't know much about many of the rest of their team that I can think of. So maybe they are like just going to be poor again.
That'd be very similar, like how we're talking about Eriksson being that player in the Danish team. That obviously, if Poland were to lose him, then that's another one really where that's your only key player really
he's
gone.
Not getting replaced if Lewandowski gets injured. But there again, he's only scored I think 1 goal in 11 tournament games internationally, so it's not a stellar record.
Raheem Sterling had scored none. Now he's on 100% record this tournament.
I feel a little bit because I'm still convinced that one against Italy in 2014 actually went inside the post, and it's just somehow because I was upset a bit.
That was some sort of like alien thing that was something that was taken away from her.
Oh, saved. I'm going to say it's injury time now. Like 6 minutes.
We're nearly finished, but just in case you want to watch it, Chris.
It's kind of what I'm doing, a watch along of the Spain-Sweden game, but we're just not talking about it.
Or watching it.
Or watching it. It's just happening. I'll tell you what happened yesterday.
What happened yesterday?
I mentioned earlier how that second goal in the Scotland game I saw after I knew it was happening. I had to set my watch up again a couple of weeks ago, actually a few days ago, because of the updated their software. And it's an older watch, so it hasn't got the memory capacity, so you've got to basically reset it. And set up as a new watch and put new stuff on. Yeah. So because of that, all my settings have changed. And I'm sitting in the bar yesterday watching the England game, it was on a fire stick because it was in like a marquee bit. So it's the Dougie's Tavern. They've kind of got right with it. So I'm sitting there, watching the game. So phone call ping. What's this? England won. Raheem Sterling. I was like,
oh man.
So I know what's happened. So I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to my mate Phil Moore, and say like, Moore, watch a screen like that. Just have a second, watch a screen. And everyone's up, and I'm like, I knew what's happening, mate. So I kind of get excited. So it was like when you watch on when you go to a mate's house who's got a dodgy stream. When you go to I don't condone it, but when you go to a mate's house who's got a dodgy stream or something, and you've got to put your phone upside down,
not open WhatsApp.
Yeah, basically, especially with the enthusiasm in the Gallowgateshots WhatsApp group, because everyone seems to watch every game of football going.
Well, they're doing live watch-alongs. It even happens. Am I in the WhatsApp group? I've been the victim of that one before.
No. Might not manage to watch a watch-along where I was...
You were ahead.
My footage was behind the watch-along that I was watching with you doing it.
Oh, really?
It was Liverpool... Did I watch Liverpool with you? Or was that...
I don't think I was there. I think it might be in the one that Decker and Mark done the Liverpool one.
I don't know if I did it. There was one game anyway, it might be Liverpool at home possibly this season, where he was doing it and I was working, so I had the watch along on as well. And I had the stream on the telly there. Sorry, I had the footage on the telly there. It was legal. And it was me set up at home. And my footage was still behind where you were. Normally we've got to kind of go.
Like sing it all.
My dad said before, like, oh, watch this, and like, is that 6 minutes behind it? I said, well, yeah, because we're going to.
Everybody's got to sync.
There's the sync thing and the delay when it goes on YouTube. And goes like a minute or so there. So my setup's that good that I'm still behind the. He's doing
still watching it now.
Hasn't happened yet.
So as we're recording, like we said there, Spain and Sweden were playing, but I'm guessing it's just about finish.
Yeah,
nils each.
0-0 so far. 95 minutes, 30 of 96 gone. Spain are really getting up in Sweden's keeper's made a couple of decent saves of late.
Is this a Spanish full squad? Are we missing anyone because of COVID?
There are a couple. I think Sergio Busquets. I don't know if I assume he's not playing because he tested positive a week or two ago. There was someone else, maybe he's a goalkeeper, because they had to bring. Did they bring De Gea into the squad, or did they? I can't remember either.
Sure, he was already there.
I would have thought so as well. But yeah, they don't look as though they've. I mean, Sweden have even brought Emil Kraft on to make it a bit more of a sport for them, like. But from what I can gather,
try now.
Yeah, I mean, Spain have had a few more chances since, but we've just past 96-minute mark. Spain on the attack. Here comes a ball in the box.
Last chance.
Headed up.
That's gone.
Clear.
Yeah,
that must be it by now, is it? That's
it,
referees. Yep.
So full time.
Score the first goal.
Is that the first goalless draw? It is, isn't it? Yeah. It's the first game to not have any goals. So next up, tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoon. It's only 2 games tomorrow.
That big one's one there.
You've got Hungary, v Portugal at 5 o'clock. Then you've got France, Germany at 8.
That's the one, like
that's the one. That's the one that we're going to be tuning in for.
That's any tournament, even if it's a friendly. France v Germany. Yeah. The one, like.
But yeah, mate, it's been a pleasure this evening.
It's been lovely. Like, what do you fancy? How do you fancy you're going to get on Friday against? Are we going to do a preview thing?
We're all going to do a preview.
Ignore my question. And
I think I probably won't be doing the preview, but we're going to hopefully have a Newcastle fan who is also Scottish joining us.
Oh yes, I.
Sometimes when you say Scottish, do you feel as if you need to say like Scottish? Like
no, I try to.
It's one of those words that it's really your brain's got to say. Don't say it like this.
Yeah, I remember I do it at work. There's a lass I work with who's a kind enough lass, which is from Essex, and I would sometimes slip into kind of not a Cockney kind of accent, not just on occasion anyway. I did it with her once. I thought, oh god, because I hate it when people do the Geordie thing to me. Yeah. When I kind of went, oh, how's it going, best? Well,
why I man? Anyway.
Why I man? They always get us to say, if I go back to Norfolk, quite often they get us to say photocopier.
Yeah.
Let's just say photocopier. I'll just say photocopier, isn't it? Now that bit of love actually when I get myself say a table.
Yeah, same.
It's the same kind of pattern, like I. But yeah, I didn't think there was anything that special about how we say photocopier, unless you really go photocopier. So yeah, but yeah, no, I tend not to fall into the Scottish accent thing. But I remember working in the Stags. I used to work in the Stags Head and Shields years and years ago. And this bloke got in. This is a pint of Carl and they go, mate, £1.45, so they're cheap. And he goes, Glasgow.
Oh, pint of that.
Pardon? Glasgow. Yeah, what about it? Whereabouts you from? Like, West Park in South Shields. No, you're not.
Well,
All right, fair enough.
Think I am.
I was born in the General Hospital, so that's like Harton. Glasgow. No, I'm not from fucking Glasgow. Yeah, I don't know where you got that from. But yeah, I'm categorically, unless, I mean, maybe I can't remember, so it could be. I've only got the fact that, the knowledge that I was born in South Shields on the 2nd of March 1982. I've only got.
Somebody just told you about that.
Mum and Dad told us. I don't know.
There'll be a certificate as well, like, I would have thought.
Fabricate stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be hard. Like,
yeah.
But I've just got to say so on that. Like, I don't know.
Chancellor and Bemba done it.
There was a load of
recently
question marks about Les Ferdinand's birthday as well. People don't seem to know whether he was born on December the 8th or December the 18th, 1966. Les Ferdinand.
Yeah, but I think it's not too bad when it's the month and the day. I think it's the year that's the problem.
Yeah, and Bemba, what was his thing again? Was he was like years different?
Was it not only a couple of weeks ago where there was 2 passports and they were like years apart?
Yeah, it was the Newton School degree there, Chancellor.
But yeah, thanks everybody for watching us tonight. I do apologize for the first stream, which didn't happen. So let's pretend that didn't happen. I don't know why I mentioned it. Thanks, Bestie.
I'm going to buy a big one. It's a nice shirt. Which one bigger? Or should I just lose weight? Do you reckon that's a problem?
Thanks everybody.
Bye.
See you later.